Besides the clergy, our musicians, and our staff, in order to do all the work that we do, in order to accomplish what we accomplish, if we didn't have lay leaders, if we didn't have committee members, if we didn't have a board of trustees, we would not be able to do the work that we do. So it's an honor to call forward our temple president, Jeff Hyman, to share some words with the congregation.
Shana Tova. A yeshiva decides to start a crew team, but no matter how much they practice, they lose every single race. Eventually, they decide to send one boy down to a nearby prep school as a spy to watch their winning crew team and find out what their secret is. After a day of reconnaissance, the boy comes back. "Listen," he tells his teammates, "I learned how they do it. They have 8 guys rowing and only 1 guy screaming." Thank you all. I'll be here for 10 days. Last Rosh Hashanah, I spoke to you with the innocence of a new temple president. What a difference a year makes. Today, in the shadow of an omelet bar, I speak to you with immense pride to be part of this community and to serve as its president. I'm pleased to report that on the good ship PTBE, we do not stand around yelling at each other all the time. My tenure as president defies a good number of stereotypes about synagogue life and leadership. It is genuinely a pleasure to partner with our clergy, professional staff, the board of trustees, and lay leaders in service of the temple. We made tremendous progress since we were last together. We approved a construction plan, and as you know, we broke ground this June on our campus rejuvenation. This is a monumental project that will be a source of pride and enjoyment for decades. The fellowship and fireside projects are running on time and on budget. The parking lot is done, and in just a couple of weeks, we will break ground on the chapel and multi-use space in the library. All projects will be complete within 6 months, and I am knocking on wood. And in breaking news, the board recently approved a major renovation of the education wing, which will significantly update the classroom spaces that serve both Ganon and the education school. The engineers and architects are hard at work, and it is my goal that we will break ground by next summer. The Ed Wing project will cost an estimated $3 million and requires its own funding since all of the Bonim funds were spent on the work now underway. This is a project that is long overdue. Our kids and staff deserve a functional and comfortable education space, and together we have a sacred obligation to raise these funds so we can provide it to them. We also made a major addition to the PTB family by hiring Kate Lauser as our executive director. Kate pairs a warm and engaging style with a keen sense of how to get things done in a collaborative manner. Her love of Judaism and synagogue life, as well as her deep professional knowledge of synagogue matters, is readily apparent. Kate has quickly become a vital partner to me, Rabbi Dennis, and the rest of the clergy, staff, and leadership, and she will help propel PTBE to greater strength. Welcome again, Kate. There are other updates I could share, from the board approving PTBE's strategic plan to the important governance reforms that we will soon present and ask you to approve at a special meeting of the congregation, to the important steps we've implemented to enhance our campus security. But as I think about this past year, I see now that Rabbi Dennis was right about something. Well, several things, actually. Before I became president, Rabbi Dennis told me that while the work I would do as president may be dominated by matters of governance and finance and construction, the heart of this temple community lies elsewhere. People know that being president is a sacrifice, and I'm often asked why I choose to serve. I serve because all around us, every week, lives are touched and enriched by PTBE. A teen celebrates her bat mitzvah, and a family turns to PTBE for training, guidance, and to celebrate their joy. A parent, spouse, or child dies, and a family turns to PTBE for solace, comfort, and to bury their loved one. Someone dear falls ill, and a family turns to PTBE for support and healing prayers. A child slips into the arms of depression and anxiety, and a family turns to PTBE for hope, for solutions, and for strength. This is any week or month in the life of PTBE for our clergy and professionals. Yes, there are services and religious school classes to run, but beyond those events lies the heart and soul of PTBE. We are a sacred community that is there for its members in their most joyful and heart-wrenching and soul-searching life moments. And it is in those moments that we experience the splendor and grace of Rabbis Dennis, Lisa, and Laura in action. We are uplifted when Cantor Alana connects with kids and adults with her soul-soothing music. And we are comforted when we hear and see our staff deal so kindly and caringly with everyone. For members who turn to PTBE in those life moments, they have experienced what it means to find sanctuary. And PTBE welcomes all Jewish families, including those who cannot afford membership, because we believe that our Jewish community is a sanctuary that has no barriers to entry to anyone who seeks it in good faith. I serve as president to help build up this community so that it is there at its best each moment that a family needs it, in whatever way they need it. And that's what makes joining a synagogue different from the other affiliations in our lives. I pay monthly dues to Equinox because I go there 5 days a week, mostly, to work out. I'm in, I'm out. I expect the equipment to be clean, the eucalyptus towels to be chilled, and the shower to be hot. And the day I stop going regularly, Hillary will cancel my membership because it won't be worth the money. It's all about what I get from membership and what that's worth to me. And that's a perfectly fine way to think about a gym membership or a Netflix subscription. But I want to challenge us all to think differently about PTBE. I recall a conversation I had with a member who wanted to discuss his family's financial support of the temple. He said that his family attends high holiday services, but few others. They send their child through the ed program so he can have a bar mitzvah, but they don't participate in much else. He explained that for those limited interactions with PTBE, he had penciled in a lower number in the family budget than what the temple charges for dues and ed fees. This is the number that makes sense to him, he explained, for what they get from the temple. What's in it for me? What is that worth to me? That was hardly the only such conversation I've had with a member, and I don't mean to single anyone out for embarrassment, but I am okay if anyone is feeling a little uncomfortable. I want us to think about what it means to be part of something greater than ourselves, to think beyond what's in it for me, and to intentionally and compassionately provide for others, to support a community so that it is there for others when they need it. To know that because of you, a single mom and her kids can join PTBE, even though her ex-spouse does not support it and will not contribute to it. To know that because of you, our rabbis make hospital and retirement home visits that absolutely brighten someone else's day, though they are not visiting your home. To know that while your personal engagement with PTBE may take one form, because of you, others can find sanctuary at PTBE in times and ways that matter dearly and deeply to them. And these days, more than any, PTBE's sanctuary matters greatly. October 27, 2018, 6:50 a.m., Saratoga, California. The first children begin to stir. About a dozen kids slept over the night prior and would soon be joined by the rest of their class for PTBE's annual B'nai Mitzvah retreat. Meanwhile, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Robert Bowers enters the Tree of Life Synagogue in Squirrel Hill armed with an AR-15 and 3 Glock handguns. 8:15 a.m. Families begin to arrive at the Walden West Retreat Center. Rabbis Lisa and Laura welcome us. Over scrambled eggs and cereal, families meet and reconnect. Meanwhile, in Pittsburgh, Channel 11 news sources tell us the suspect is surrendering. At this time, sources report multiple people are dead. Police say 3 officers are shot. 9 a.m. We're seated in the outdoor amphitheater for Shabbat services. The rabbis share only that an incident has occurred. We say a prayer of hope for everyone in Pittsburgh, and the retreat proceeds. There is a hushed look amongst the parents, a shared understanding that something all too familiar has happened. Later that day, I arrive back in San Mateo and meet Rabbi Dennis to host a vigil at the temple, where we welcome not only PTBE members, but others from the community seeking sanctuary in this dark hour. There are hugs and tears. Many say thank you for organizing the vigil. They say this is where they wanted and needed to be tonight. Rabbi Dennis and Cantor Alana create a sense of healing with just the right mix of music, prayer, and compassionate words. You may not have attended the vigil yourself, but how do you value knowing that when tragedy hit a synagogue 3 time zones away and struck fear and sadness in the hearts of Jews on the peninsula, PTBE and its clergy was the sanctuary they sought? I wish I could say that the tragedy in Pittsburgh was an isolated incident, but we know too well that it was not. Whether it was the murderous shooting in April at the synagogue in Poway, or one of the countless other attacks or plots on Jewish targets, the rising tide of anti-Semitic activity is undeniable. Others can opine on the cause of this trend, but what I can say with certainty is that at a time of greater threat and feeling of insecurity, a thriving and vital PTBE has never been more important. Does that matter to you? Do you place value on that? As president, I witnessed the extraordinary work of our clergy and staff. The hours, the effort, the skill, the heart, the spirit, the nights and weekends, all in service of caring for us. I have seen with my own eyes the impact PTB has on its members' lives, and that is why Hillary, Sierra, and I prioritize supporting PTBE. But it is ultimately in your hands how capably PTBE can be that sanctuary for this community. You decide each year how effectively and deeply we can touch lives through your membership commitment and your participation in the Chai Giving campaign. Many of you have generously supported the temple for years, and we are grateful for your continued support. And to those of you who are considering where support of PTBE fits alongside other causes and spending, let me share 2 final thoughts. First, my experience confirms that the more you engage in synagogue life, the more you get from it, and the better you make it for others. While attending the B'nai Mitzvah retreat, Hillary and I met Aaron and Anita Levin. Our daughters were friends through the ED program, but we had never met Aaron and Anita until the retreat. Today, they are dear friends. That was a gift to our families from PTBE, and all it took was showing up and saying hello. I urge you to do the same. Second, supporting PTBE is an investment in impactful empathy. We can all empathize with the plight of families experiencing the full range of life experiences. But when facing hard or frightening times, people need more than our empathy. When we invest in PTBE, we enable our clergy and staff to act, to help, to make an impact when people need it most. Giving to PTBE is not just about how you experience temple life. It is an act of caring and compassion to support others in this community. I want to thank you again for the opportunity to serve, for the chance to partner with Rabbi Dennis, Kate, the rest of our clergy, staff, and lay leaders. and for the opportunity to strengthen PTBE for the benefit of all of the families and all the people who look to it for friendship, for community, for spirituality, and for sanctuary. Shana Tova.